By the way, I'd interview Putin in a heartbeat.
Interview? Yeah, he'd be a fun
100%.
interview, for sure.
Are you fucking kidding me? I'll brush up on my Russian.
Oh, my God. I think if your Russian's anything like your Spanish, we should just have a translator there. But I'll tell you this.
I'll be good.
You
like bear? You like bear? Vodka, take it? Vodka, take it in mouth?
I think he'd be a fun interview. I know. I wonder if the Kremlin will take us up on this offer.
Hey, by the way, soft pitch, Russia. You've got a bad rap with the media. I think you have a few jailed journalists. Time to turn that around. Bring us out to Moscow. We interview Putin. We have a good time. We show a good face. But do some fun stuff with him. Some like archery and shit he probably likes. Right?
Sure.
Paint it good. We'll give him a softball interview. And fucking...
That's cool. Yeah, let's see what they say. I'm sure we'll heal back. Can you guys follow up on that? I told you I've been doing a dive on Mussolini lately. I mean...
No, you didn't. Because do you know what I've been doing a dive on?
Yeah.
Mussolini.
Oh, really?
Let's go.
First of all.
Wait,
this guy...
you just sent that in a text, and I replied back to you.
Yeah.
We just were texting about this.
Yeah. Yeah, man. This guy was a piece of work, dude. Like, first of all, he stabbed a classmate when he was a teen, right? And he got kicked out of boarding school. And then
Are you talking about the memoir he wrote?
Dude, his memoir when he forced himself onto a teen. This is when he's in his 20s. He forced himself onto a teen girl. Like, he was a 26, 27-year-old man. This girl's 16 years old. He does the unthinkable. He says that when they're done, she's crying and says, "You violated my honor." And his words in his journal were, "What honor?" You're like, what the fuck, man? He ends up getting, he marries a woman, leaves her, finds another woman that he really likes, but guess what he likes more than that woman? Her 16-year-old daughter. So then he marries that girl, and then they assume, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, there's so much to talk about with him, but they presume that he had at least 100 kids out of wedlock with other women during his reign of power. So they would bring women into the compound, and he couldn't be bothered to take his pants or shoes off. He was just like, "Get over here," then get rid of them, and then he would have the secret police follow them, be like, "Just make sure they don't fucking do anything stupid." I mean, he was wild, dude.
He was a real rascal, that guy.
He was a big-time goofball, yeah. And
he was a goofball.
He really was. This is, of course, I'm leaving out the tens and of thousands of murders, but he really, I mean, he put on he's the blueprint for fascist dictator. Like, he's the guy. He created fascism. Yeah, he's the grandfather of it. Yeah.
He's the grandfather of fascism. They were called the black shirts were his people. Mm-hmm. And they all wore black shirts. But can I tell you what the most fascinating thing about Mussolini, in my opinion, is?
Yeah.
The defamation of character that happens after he's killed. So they loved him in Italy when they didn't know all the stuff that he was doing, but they loved him in Italy. Loved him.
Il Duce.
And then Il Duce. And then what a fucking, but that same pose, right? That same pose you just did?
Yeah.
That, when they saw that the first time, they're like, "Fuck yeah!" And they like went crazy. And then they turned that after he died to turn him into a fool. And then they show that pose a little sped up, and he looks like a fucking idiot. And he's like, "Do."
Yeah.
And so they did the same thing with Nero in Greece. Nero is not a bad emperor, but like 4 emperors after him, or 4 Caesars after him, or whatever, they kept fucking up, and they were like boom, couldn't last a year. And so the 5th one shows up, and he's like, "In order for me to succeed, I got to make Nero look like an asshole." So he created the phrase, "When Rome burned, Nero played the fiddle." And they did the same thing with with Il Duce that when he died, they just defamed his character so much. They shared all this stuff so that there was never going to be a recollection of him being the guy that they thought he was when he was the leader. Because he ran the country and they loved him.
For a long time, they did. You know what I'm wondering, though? Is
What?
how come we don't have like an awesome modern day Mussolini movie? Like, shouldn't there be a fucking Oscar level movie about him?
There should be.
Right?
Yeah, but no one's ever done one about Hitler. That's the
No,
other thing is
Hitler,
everyone, can I tell you, Hitler was like the mean girl of these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he was the mean girl. So like everyone, Mussolini, Stalin, they all wanted to be boys. Even Churchill. Like Churchill flew to Berlin to meet Hitler and like sit and talk to him. And Hitler just shined him. Was like, yeah, I'm not coming.
I'm not coming to that.
Everyone wanted to be Hitler's friend.
Right.
And he just was a mean girl.
Yeah, I wonder if he was just paranoid about meeting people. Like once he knew, because there was. So here's some movies. Last Days of Mussolini is a 1974 film about his final days when he tried to flee Milan. Robbing Mussolini is a 2022 Italian action film about plans to steal his treasure. And Tea with Mussolini is a period film that depicts the end of the English expat community in Florence. Yeah, but I'm talking about like, you know what I mean? Like a Schindler's List level movie about this guy. It feels like there's definitely that story there. It's just a matter of who wants to tell it.
Yeah.
Bert and Tom, Tom and Bert. One goes topless while the other wears a shirt. Tom tells stories and Bert's the machine. There's not a chance in hell that they'll keep it clean. Here's what we call two bears, one cave.